I think we're going to vote on teaming with
I'd like to call to order the January 4th, 2019, no, January 8th, 2019 meeting of the Natural Resources Board. We could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Miss, if we could have the roll call, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Moseblack?
Here.
Mr. Wolf?
Here.
Mr. O'Neill?
Here.
Mr. Moga? Here.
Okay. And we have several members in in attendance. Tonight we have Ms. Olson and Ms. Callahan, both excused absences, and
Charles.
Charles, no word from him.
He may be a minute late.
Okay, and any word from Jason?
Jason Van Hoffman has resigned.
Okay.
I was going to discuss that next.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that earlier on the, okay. Okay, so next item on the agenda, we have approval of the December 4th meeting's minutes.
Yes. So do we move to approve the minutes?
Move to approve the minutes?
Yes, move to approve the minutes. Do we get a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I wasn't here.
Any opposed? Yeah.
Oh, let me say opposing. I was absent.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
So next announcement, I guess we'll go to, oh, wait, can we go back, should we go back to the roll call? Do we have to do that?
Oh, yes.
No, I'll just keep it on. Okay.
Okay.
So, under announcements, we have Kim, who's going to talk to us about member position available.
All right, Jason Van Hoffman has resigned, so we have a full-time position available. The alternates have a choice of nominating to go to full position, but we have other applicants as well. Jeanette is accepting applications for a full-time member position until the 12th, and a 23rd city council meeting is when the decision will be made.
The 12th,
Okay, thank you. All those who are in attendance here are regular members, not alternate?
Charles is an alternate.
Oh, okay, okay. Charles, I don't know, I know you were introduced last meeting when you were absent. Would you like to introduce yourself? I mean, at least I would like to say welcome for, joining us.
My name's Charles Moga. I've been in Sebastian since the late 80s. And avid snorkeler, just love the islands, love the inlet, fish. Was in real estate for a while and until I had to retire. But love this area. And I hate to say it, when I was a kid, we used to skip school in Boca and come up here and go surfing. The surfing's been great. But that's more than enough.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you being here.
I did go to high school and other schooling.
Okay. So we'll move to the next announcement then for the demonstration garden and the workday that we have this coming weekend.
Yep, this Saturday we have another work day in the demonstration garden. We have some more good plants. I hope you've noticed that there are some changes happening. And we have a lot more plants to plant, and we have to dig out some more beds around some of the trees. We're saving those trees out of the compacted ground around them. So we've had some great volunteers show up with the UF Master Gardeners and the Sebastian Garden Club, and I hope to see more of you here this week.
I intend to be there. I'll probably be there on the earlier side as opposed to the later side, but I will be there.
I'll be there as well. Any tools that I should bring other than a shovel, or that's it?
Shovel, gloves.
Okay.
I'll have some things, but rake is useful.
Okay.
The sweat towel.
Okay. The next item, we have the public input. Is there anyone out there who would like to contribute some public input?
I'm just here with
Yep,
the,
to the microphone. Sorry.
I don't find anyone. I'm here with the Sebastian Garden Club.
Would you mind just stating your name and spelling it?
Sure,
for-
it's Tracy Starling, Tracy, Starling, Starling. Thank you. You're welcome. And Kimberly reached out to the garden club and asked if we would be interested in participating in your demonstration garden. And we were there the first day, and we look forward to next Saturday to continue helping, and looking forward to possibly other projects in the future with the city.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
We appreciate your,
They're a small but mighty newer group in the city, and I wanted her to
Yes.
have a chance to tell people that they're out there, and you can find them on Facebook. And
We've only been in existence since August.
oh,
I was looking for a garden club in Sebastian, and there wasn't one, so several people encouraged me to start one, and we're about 11 members strong, and not everybody shows up for the hard work, but that's okay. And we're enjoying it very much. Love Sebastian. So, looking forward to it. Thank you.
We'll see you Saturday.
Thank you.
Yes.
okay. If there's any other public input? Okay. Under new business, we don't have any items listed, so we'll, unless there is some.
Well, it's not new, so.
Okay, so we're going to the next one, and we'll incorporate it there. Okay, so under old business, we've got item A, our Earth Day, Arbor Day celebration coming up on April 27th of this year. It looks like we're looking to have a board member serve as a primary champion.
what we need to have a meeting with Bob in the city for the primary core organization of the event, so just a liaison for that. I'll be there, but we need an NRB member there.
I'd be happy to do it. I'm doing the entertainment. I need to know, do we get a budget yet for entertainment? Okay, but
Would those types of things be discussed at that meeting?
Um,
Or is
It's
that?
my intent that whoever says we're gonna divvy up everything after the meeting, they'll come back to my office and we'll sort through what we have.
Here
and what we
tonight?
need.
Or at that
The
meeting?
meeting next week, hopefully.
Gotcha, okay.
the reason I asked is I've reached out to Soul Jam. They're interested in possibly headlining. Yeah, they're a local band that does a lot of work over at the Inlet as well. But I don't know how much, what do we pay?
Okay. Do we have a date for that meeting as well?
That's what I was waiting to
Just
see
set.
what, I was just approached by the new parks director, Brian and Bob, saying that we need to make that organizational meeting that needed to happen. And I figured it was a good time to get that person right after that meeting. We'll go through our files and on the whole event and see how we can divide up the tasks and information we have.
Okay. So you're willing to do that then?
Sure.
So, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, so as an action item, are we required to vote on that then?
Well,
Okay.
you chose.
So can we just have a roll call vote? All those in favor of Brian as the primary champion for the Arbor Day celebration? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much, Brian. Okay, so each task point person. So from the last meeting, we were each divided up responsibilities to arrange a meeting with the liaison as soon as possible. I didn't bring those.
You have my
papers.
direct contact information. I'll send out what everyone volunteered for last time.
Yeah.
And you need to arrange for a meeting with me as soon as possible, and we'll get all the information that you'll need.
Okay.
Charles, I know you weren't here, and I'll send you what other organizational tasks we have. See what might be a fit for you, what you feel like.
All right, perfect. Would you prefer for those meetings, to wait until after that organizational meeting, or that's just something else?
After the organizational, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Hopefully, we can have it before. It'd be nice if it was the end of this week, very early next week.
Yeah.
We need it as soon as possible.
Absolutely. I'm available this week, so
Okay.
let's do it.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so it looks like then it's kind of up to each board member to really kind of take on those tasks, and hopefully for next month's meeting, be able to report back in terms of what we've done, progress, et cetera. Because we have the February, the March meeting, really by April, we should be just kind of nailing down any loose ends, but everything should be done hopefully within the next 2 months. Okay. All right, sounds good. Any other items on that before we move? Okay. For the next one, we've got the Community Oyster Garden, so I'll turn that over to you, Kim. For the summary, we have the task 6 and the documentation for the project.
Yep. So we just submitted the deliverable 6, which would have been our final deliverable. But we actually we have a lot of the budget still left because we didn't use a lot since our space was ours, and we already had testing equipment and a lot of things. We had a great volunteer show up. So basically, we had the intern, that was it, that ran the project. So we asked for a no-cost extension on the project. We already have 2 big tours booked past the new year. So we felt like there was still a need in Sebastian for that. We didn't really want to wrap it up and have to apply for a whole new grant, which would delay the project until the fall. We want to be able to continue through the summer. So at the moment, Inver Lagoon Council is Kathy Strong at the moment. So I'm pretty sure the no-cost extension will be granted, but we don't have the finalization on that yet. But so our final 6 deliverables is in everyone's packet, and I printed it out for you. It's in the binder clip. If you want to review over it, I encourage all of you. It's ours. The Natural Resource Board voted on it. Everyone's kind of given some input on it, and we welcome your input going forward too. So as you look over it, I'm sure you'll have some ideas.
As I was reading through the information, one of the things, and maybe I was just reading too fast, but it looks like we have a large number of volunteers. It looks like we've had a good number of people coming to collect the data. I wanted to make sure that it was something that volunteers were contributing to, that it wasn't something that was just being put upon, city staff or that kind of thing. Because the idea was to include the community.
We had the intern, and then we would always have a number of other volunteers have shown up. Of course, we'd like more. We don't have an intern going forward right now. So we don't have the no-cost extension granted, and the money we have wouldn't stretch as far if we were paying an intern. And it's kind of, through the winter, we won't have as many visits, and we're limited on activities. We'd be stretching to find hours for her. It wouldn't be the best. Wouldn't be nice to her. So I'm definitely going to lean on volunteers more. One, I have the charter middle school planned for a visit. They're going to come 2 days in a row, and they have to be quick because they only can have buses from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and they have to get 2 rounds of kids in that time, 2 days in a row. So we really have to be quick and efficient, but I convinced her she should move to the end of March, and I'm trying to convince any other tours to focus on the end of March, because I really wouldn't want to book tours and have it be a cold snap, and then we'd really be limited on what we could do. It's really a place you need to be outside to enjoy. So we definitely need more volunteers to help with the programs, which are well developed, and we have scripts and everything, so it's not anything you have to feel intimidated by. We've got it down pretty well.
And those are the programs during the day?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, yeah, the 9 to 1, sorry. Yeah, of course.
We've had a lot of homeschooler so far.
Great.
It's been a lot of homeschoolers.
Good.
It's been surprising how many homeschoolers are in this area, but they've been fantastic.
In terms of the success over the length of the project, do you feel that, because part of the intent was to be able to use some of these oysters to then go into living dock type of arrangements. Do you feel like we're getting to that point, or?
Well, we're still going to do the living dock around the pilings.
Mm-hmm.
And the oysters, the local aquaculturist who gave us the oysters said that everyone's oysters are died through red tide, and ours survived. But it was because of Savannah's hard work. She was fantastic, and she was out there when she saw boarding sponge. She was out there doing whatever treatment she could read about. She was constantly taking care of them, and they all survived. Fantastic. They're doing great, but we have 4 cages. They're not overflowing them, so we're fine to hold on to them for right now. So.
Do you know when we'll hear about the extension?
I expect, Kathy was out during the holidays, so I expect in the next couple weeks,
Okay.
before the next meeting.
Good. The next item, we have the Sustainable Business Initiative, which we've obviously been working on for quite some time. So I think, Brian, you had some updates on this, so I'll turn it over to you if that's okay.
Sure. Basically, Kim and I went yesterday up to Brevard and met with the Litter Quitter people, which is one of the programs that we were looking at incorporating into our Sustainable Sebastian initiative, along with Surfrider. Kind of, at this point, I think Surfrider is a more expensive program. And so, you know, as a barrier to entry from a business point of view, expense is a big thing. But the Brevard Litter Quitter program, which they want to be able to really working with the Clean Waters program and trash-free lagoons, they want to be able to model this program here in Indian River County and other counties as well around the country through Keep America Beautiful. So right now we're at a point where we as a board need to decide on whether we want to pursue this to the point where we're involved in their grant. KBB is seeking another grant to expand this program into Indian River and hopefully beyond one day. What we need to do is come up with a letter that's saying, as the Natural Resources Board, we're on board with kind of a private label type of thing for the Litter Quitter program for applicable to any municipality. So, you know, they would even provide a logo, a spot for a logo on their logo. So, I don't know if this is something that we can vote on tonight or if we have to prepare it, but the grant is going in at the end of the month. That's why we do have a time constraint here, and they need participants from municipalities as far as stakeholders in this whole program, and this is right down our alley. So I don't know. My recommendation would be to pursue partnering with them in, you know, the goal to get all of our restaurants along the waterfront to be sustainable, more sustainable.
So can I ask a couple clarifications? So by partnering with them, are we partnering with Litter Quitter as well as Keep Brevard Beautiful and Keep Indian River Beautiful and the EPA? Is that everyone?
How it works is Keep Indian River Beautiful is going to be working with Keep Brevard Beautiful to bring it here. We'll log our time, and it'll be an in-kind contribution towards the overall grant. So it's a collaboration grant, but we are not a grant writing partner. We're a letter of support and giving time. So we will submit our volunteer hours to Daisy Packard from Keep Indian River Beautiful, and that's how. And then the idea is that the Keep America Beautiful, those organizations will help spread it down the coast. And we also had Martin was there on the phone yesterday, and they're going to give their support to Martin counties.
Oh, Martin County. Gotcha.
I think the main thing is to you know, in terms of what we're looking at as far as how we were approaching, you know, what our sustainable initiative would have been called. You know, the Litter Quitter program is already here. You know, Pete already has it, and so does Mulligan's. We've identified a list of restaurants that we would go after in the CRA development. It would also include possible help with building, the things to hold recyclable. So while we're not moving, to recyclables right now per se, eventually down the line, that we would want them to do that and to absorb some of that cost with our CRA dollars.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for Sebastian. The staff really supports it at this point. That what they want to do, the EPA wants them to develop a program that will have a manual and materials, and they can be passed to any municipality and be used. And the way they've already been doing it in Brevard, but they developed this manual and these.
Right.
We fine-tune the manual and the materials and everything for the program, and then we implement it in Sebastian as like the first test of this redesign of it, sort of. So, which I couldn't believe when I went over the map that we have 32 restaurants within the CRA in Sebastian, and no other city or county has anything like that along their riverfront because they're all residential along the riverfront. So I think it's a unique situation to really affect the trash that goes in the water, because everything from US 1, Sandy River Boulevard, is curb and gutter. So it's the DOT, Department of Transportation outfalls from US 1, and it goes straight to the lagoon. So I think that's what difference we can make in those restaurants could be huge.
And the fact that they'll come, they have professionals that they'll send into the restaurant and do the presentation. I mean, there's a training class on the 23rd at noon at the Zoo Lodge for anybody who's interested in seeing how they train people to present this program. But they actually have people that we can give them the list. They'll basically go and do the presentation, and it'll just be whatever, if we want to call it, Indian River Litter Quitter. I don't know, what is it going to be called here? Do we know?
I believe it'll be under the Keep Indian River Beautiful umbrella still,
right.
so.
So the name would stay the same. I mean, it essentially is.
It's litter quitter,
Yeah.
period.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, it does, we obviously have potential here, we knew that, that's why we're trying to
Right,
develop
right,
this.
right.
And it sounds like it's convenient timing with allowing those organizations that have the experts that have been doing it already to, and with, Keep America Beautiful and the way that they're already set up, that it's easy to kind of spread this idea. So I guess I am in support of it. I think one of my questions would be, are we just kind of partnering in pushing, like, are they developing on the materials and then we kind of take them and then push them out to the restaurants? Are we going to be playing a role in helping to develop the manual and how the program is working here in Indian River County?
Yeah, we all get a say in it. I have a plethora of materials that were
Yeah,
emailed to
in
me
fact,
last
we're
night,
gonna-
and I'll get them out to everyone.
We'll get a chance to review the 54-page thing that they have now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're going to be a beta version on rolling it out,
Right.
nationally. So if whatever pluses or minuses we find, let's make sure to note them as we roll this thing out. But the only thing I feel bad about is, Surf Rider is, basically not going to be a part of this. I think that the cost is going to be a factor with our restaurants, and so I don't know. It was nice of them to come by, but I don't.
There's really no reason that restaurants can't
They
do
do
this
both, right.
and then expand
Yeah.
upon that.
Yeah.
If they really do embrace this idea, and at least Litter Quitter gives them
Right.
kind of that first step, and then if
Right.
they want to jump in with both feet, then certainly do that, and then there
Sure.
are the added benefits if they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Ocean Friendly Restaurants is a great program. I guess my hesitation to incorporate that into this is first of all, they weren't at any of those meetings, so I'm not sure if we could add them as a stakeholder now.
I don't think so.
But that would be a question for Brian, maybe, I don't know. Our contact with these guys, yeah. With
Keep
the
Brevard Beautiful, right?
Trash-Free Indian River Lagoon and Trash-Free Waters Collaborative, right? That's what,
Correct.
yes.
That's
This is actually who
from
we're,
from the EPA.
who will be submitting is Keep Brevard Beautiful submitting the grant, or are these guys
It's
submitting
Keep
it?
Brevard Beautiful, Brevard Zoo, and Keep Indian River Beautiful.
Okay.
Those
so
three are the main
those three.
operating partners.
But-
We operate underneath the Keep Indian River
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And these guys, Trash Free Lagoon, we're operating over here, right?
That's because the Indian River Lagoon Council invited the EPA Trash Free Waters program to the Indian River Lagoon area
Okay.
to bring their program and their whole workshop idea of, getting all these people together to
Right.
brainstorm ideas. Basically, we knew what we wanted when we went in there, Brian. I knew we were looking for a sustainable business initiative ideas. And then there was a litter quitter was sitting there, and I was like, we need you in our group. We want to talk about this, So it worked out really well that we have the aid of the EPA, and, I think it's a great opportunity to have input from so many great professionals in their
Yeah.
field on the program.
Yeah, I think it would be a great program to try and bring to Sebastian and the county and keep expanding it, so. If we were, to do this, we would have to provide an official letter of support. Is that something that we can vote on?
Staff supports that, and the city would do a separate one.
Okay, so Natural Resources would do
Right,
one, and then, okay. Are there any other comments or questions from, other members?
The staff recommends that if the board votes unanimously to write the letter of support, then the chair would normally write that letter. Yeah.
Good thing.
And I can
Do
leave
you
you
wanna-
some of this stuff if you want.
Okay, yeah, no, I think
Okay.
this is the same thing.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Do you want to write the letter of support before we get the manual 100%? I mean, because we're on constrained for time, but we
Yeah.
don't have the final outline either. So, because we'd have to vote on that tonight. I don't mind. I'll move
Right,
forward,
right,
but I was just
right.
asking, we don't have the final outline? Is that what I'm saying?
It's not final, it's not final, this is what
Yeah,
this is
but
what
the-
they have at the
What
moment.
they're gonna
Right.
send us would be subject to change by us. So, whatever we decide, well, we don't like this part, let's strike this from the manual.
I think the letter of support is to support pursuing
Them pursuing the
funding.
grant for the.
Yeah.
Funding for a
Okay.
grant, saying that we would be a participant in the process, not that we would absolutely support whatever comes out at the end. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
okay.
And I'll support it right from the beginning without knowing what's going to happen at the end. So,
Okay.
I never know what's going to happen.
All right. So I guess we'll have a voice vote. All those in favor of writing a letter of support for the Trash Free Indian River Lagoon Initiative? I'm going to stop it there. All those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that has passed. So I'll work on that letter and go over the draft with you. Okay.
And I'll get out the information on the program to members. I'll probably do it in the morning. Just forward that out to you. It's a
And then
huge
this is the
email.
letter from Perryville Brewing, the owner,
Oh, great.
and that needs to
Yeah,
go to.
I'll send it all to Daisy.
Okay.
With the meetings, these, I'm assuming they're probably going to be during the day, aren't they? Kind of like the workshops and working with the.
So
groups.
far, yeah, I know.
Okay. I wish I did not have a day job. All right,
Your
okay.
day job's very important.
All right, I guess is there any other points that we did not go over to be, yeah?
Oh, I didn't know if you were going to move on to member matters. I'm
No, I
sorry.
think we're ready to do that unless there's any objections? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
One of the things that we're working on as a group is the invasive tree and the plants that are native species. One of my experiences that I had over this holiday season was I had to remove a Brazilian pepper tree from my front yard, and I did it myself. And I actually like the tree, but I know it's very invasive. How invasive, I didn't really know.
Very. I can tell, what happens is there's a couple of things. One is that birds eat the little berries, okay, and it intoxicates them, number one. And number two is then they drop them all over the place, and that's how it spreads, and that's why it is every place.
This one small tree, it was just one tree, was 16-foot radius, 32 feet across.
That's big.
It was really, yeah, I didn't think it was that big. I figured it was just going to take me 2 or 3 hours to chop this thing down and bundle it up, and out it goes. It took me, I'm still working on it. What am I saying? And what I'd like to do, I'd like to know if we could recommend to the council to get a claw truck from Waste Management. Because Waste Management doesn't provide us with a claw truck, but I can tell you it's almost next to impossible to get rid of. Not next to impossible. You got to bundle it up in small bundles, but it's a bundles taller than me. And if we had a claw truck that could come around to pick up the large tree debris from Waste Management, that's the one who has to provide it. But I didn't know if we could do it as a contract item or something, anything. I need a claw truck. But the people cutting down their own trees and putting out their own bushes, if they're going to try to get rid of these invasive species, it's a task. And I can tell you, in that 32 feet, there was nothing alive in there. There was no bugs. The tree itself has a way of taking care of itself. And something about the leaves and everything it killed everything underneath of it. I got a big sand circle.
Yeah.
It's
in my
related to
front yard.
poison ivy.
I figured it had to do. I didn't really do much research on it, but I didn't find any. Like normally, if I'm out in a forest or something, or out in a swamp, I'll find bugs, snakes, stuff like that. It was a large space.
How big was the roots thing?
The
compared
roots
to-
were terrible. They're still terrible. I took some pictures of it. I was going to put it in, but I was working a little late tonight. The roots extend out as far as the branches did. There's a kill zone in there, and that 16 feet, about 14 feet is sand. 2 feet out from that is where the branches and a little bit of sunlight could reach. That was all weeds, and the roots extended out to the sand. So it's very extensive fix, and we need a claw truck.
Yeah, I'll put that down and ask about how that works. We want to, of course, promote the removal of these things. And I've had people ask before with the castor. Someone was removing a castor bean plant, and it was huge, and they were having the same issue. Like, it's not even healthy to handle. I can't put it in my car, and they're right. So I'll see
Or
what there is out there.
Invasive species
Like
removal.
a removal day or
Or
something.
like an
yeah.
invasive
Well, just-
maybe we should have a battle against invasive species week.
Who brings in the most
We
weight
didn't have a
or
hurricane
something?
this year, so the last 2 years, whenever there was a hurricane, as soon as it was over, I'm hacking at my chevrolet, I'm taking out the peppers, and I'm cutting into everything in my yard, my mom's yard, because that's when you can pile everything up on the street and they'll take it. We didn't have that this year, so.
It's
yeah.
a very
We need an
effective
amnesty
tree.
day.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, when it wants to live, this tree is going to make, and I understand the reasons when it was planted originally by the Spanish, and, they used it for protection and firewood and stuff like that, but when I say this tree takes care of itself, it will take over, and it's hard to get
I
rid
have
of.
to get one out of the front of my house, my rental. I'm not happy to hear that.
I go to lots that are natural scrub habitat, completely taken over by, I can tell you that every day I go out, I'm like, oh, pepper. Like it's just sad when you see it completely take over some
It'll be a
natural
mechanical
habitat.
fix.
It
Definitely
does, it's not
mechanical
picky.
fix.
Swamp, sand, it likes everything. It does not care.
But if we can get a claw truck, that may help individual homeowners, at least if they can do their part, if they can't hire somebody. I did it, but I got some sons at my house that also lent a hand. So it's very, it's helpful,
Like
but not everybody has that right now.
Or at least like an amnesty week, like when we have a storm. They pick up everything for a week,
We could at least have
I fought
maybe
for a
have an
week. I was out
interest.
there every day with a hacksaw for
If
a
we
week.
had a citizen interest list in this at Earth Day, people sign up if they're interested in
Good idea.
taking down invasive species. Are you interested in us coming by with a truck to pick it up? We have invasive species elimination week, a month, whatever.
I actually know the gentleman who runs the claw truck that picks up the vegetation in the city of Vero Beach, so I can ask him. It'll be a
I'm
good
so
start.
glad I asked the right person then.
You're right.
There
I
you
think
go.
he might, if he's not the right person, he would know an idea of how that
It
works.
might be a good tie-in with Arbor Day. Just saying. even though it's taking trees down.
No, it's promoting it's giving the
Right,
natives
right,
more.
right.
Yeah.
Can I ask one question? See, now you brought up Arbor Day. I have to make sure we mention it a little bit more during the actual Earth Day. Now, have you guys heard of that William Bartram? Have you seen the post out there? There's a plaque. You would be familiar with it.
The
William
Riverview Park?
Bartram was an explorer that came down out of Philadelphia. Now, in Philadelphia, the Bartram Museum is huge. Like, everybody knows what it is. I didn't know if you wanted to make a phone call to them and reach out to them, see if they want to participate in Earth Day in any way. Because this was the southernmost point for that group of people. I'm just trying to get people in the city. You know, there's a big plaque
You're
out there.
exhibit
Maybe our
guy, right?
historical
You're the-
site would be
I'm
interesting.
the turtle guy.
Exhibit guy?
Yes, I am the
Because
turtle
they celebrate
guy.
Teddy Roosevelt and
Yeah, Teddy
Craigle
Roosevelt.
at the Pelican Island. Maybe they would like to celebrate Bartram at the Arbor Day. That would be
Yeah,
nice.
it's just something. I didn't know if you guys are interested in maybe because they got a big brass plaque right there on US 1 saying, yeah, we were here back in 1780 or something like that.
Where is that
1780s.
located?
It's right in front of the river
The park.
It's
It's
right
right
there,
yeah,
right in front of the
park.
trees, right in the middle. If you're coming up to the stoplight, it'll be right on the right-hand side, and it's a large plaque.
Okay.
And this gentleman must have came down, and he was like, whoa, there's nothing here. But it was beautiful for him because he was an explorer, and it was his job to come down and look at the birds and the plants. And there's a large museum in Philadelphia, and it's called the Bartram Museum. It's a well-established trust in that neck of the woods.
It was one of the first to catalog a lot of the species in this area.
Mosquitoes. But I didn't know if you were interested in something like that. I just happened to be thinking about it, and
Would you
just
like to
wanted to bring
contact
it
them?
up. I would. Sure, why not? Absolutely.
See what happens?
Yeah, see what happens. Make sure it gets done.
Reach out and touch somebody.
I can give you a contact with the Sebastian Historical Society too. They may be
Okay.
interested.
All right. Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
Because I'd be calling them up. It's like I'd be calling. They're like, who? But no, I'd be glad to reach out.
And their office is just the building next to City Hall here.
Okay, sure. And other than the call truck, that's about all I have for Member Matters.
Any other member matters?
Nope.
Okay, so then we have items for next agenda. We've got the board member planning updates, so we'll all plan to have our, at least make progress on each of the tasks that we had chosen. Make sure that we touch base with Kim and meet and get that, something done. And then Sustainable Business Initiative Plan for City Council presentation. Okay, so that's actually, I hadn't thought about that, but so if we're trying to do this other program, how do we approach the City Council then?
Wait till they file their grant, and we have a timeline on that, and then it'll be a group. Like, I know Keep Brevard Beautiful and Keep Inver Beautiful will all need to bring it to City Council, and I'll have the support, so we just need to organize all of us together. So we can discuss that further when we know more after we get all the grant filed. And
Okay. I would assume city representation, Natural Resource Board representation as well. Okay. All right. Any ideas? I don't think I saw it in the paperwork. Any ideas when we would have a response as to whether or not the grant would be funded?
do not know how the
Okay.
timeline is on that.
Okay.
I can send, I'll send it all out. There's a lot of material, right? It's a lot. It's a big email. But I'll send it out along with information on the NIFWIF grant. So you can look over all the information. I'll send it out to everyone, and you can, if anyone would like any of it printed, I can print it out, and you can pick it up at the office.
Yeah, you can print out a copy of that 65-pager for me, thank you.
That's a lot of trees, man.
Well, I can't look at that on a computer.
Yeah, I can't either. I go cross-eyed staring at the computer that long.
Okay, so we'll just put the city council presentation on hold until we hear further. And if there's no further comments, issue?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, good night, we are adjourned.